Sometimes I do the camera and just like, I look terrible.
Nah, you good to go. Don't worry about it. I'll even use this like a microphone. All right.
All right, we're good?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me line up the audio. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to a special episode of Bitches Love Sports. I'm Bitch 2, also known as Lethal, also known as Jazz. What are you calling me today?
I'm nobody's bitch. I'm just Voch and you're Jazz.
I said, what are you calling me? So you're calling me Jazz.
I'm Voch and you're Jazz. What's happening? It's been a long time. You know, we did the first interview and that was over cyberspace or whatever, but we're here in public. Nice to meet you, man. Swati cop to all of you. Appreciate y'all for being here. Salute. This is my microphone, so if y'all see me doing my phone like this, I'm lining up the audio there. So.
I love how you always explain to the audience what's happening.
Because some people have because there's going to be somebody chat, man, what is Voch doing with the phone? Why is Voch shaking the phone in the camera? Well, we're using this as a microphone today so you guys can hear us and we can give you the best quality product that we can possibly get because you never know who's watching. All right?
Facts. If you watch BLS regularly, you know we've been trying to figure things out when it comes to audio and video. So, yeah, there was supposed to be a whole nother setup, but that's a completely different discussion. But yeah, no, you do that all the time on your shows. You'll be like, if I'm looking this way, I'm looking at blah blah blah.
I think that's so fun though. I think that's just a way to get the audience involved because sometimes if you just watch me long enough, somebody, and I'm always accounting for the small guy. Like if it's 10,000 people watching. It could be 3 people saying, what is Voch looking at? Well, and then before long, it turns into a thing. It turns into a joke that we do. Like, well, something must be going on in the volume check because Voch keeps looking over there, you know? So, or if me and Will are laughing and they see me look over here and I laugh, sometimes people will leave the Voch chat and run to the volume chat because they see me looking over there. So it's just, I love to break the fourth wall a little bit. You just let people know what you're doing and it turns into a series of inside jokes.
I don't think there is a fourth wall on your show.
Shit, of course not, because I broke that mug down, but I like to be transparent. I like to be wide open with my audience and what we're doing. So, shouts out there. This is me looking at the mic. This is me looking at Jazz. If we hear noise, I'm looking at these people outside of the Ford Center here because we're broadcasting from the Omni here in the Ford Center in Frisco, right behind the center.
Is that a flex? Like, should we make that a thing?
False. We made it up. No way. It's a made up tale.
No, let's talk a little bit more about that before we get into the football stuff because you've seen what most people would consider a pretty high level of success with your show, and I ended up discovering you when you were already Voch Lombardi with the volume. Sure. You came on my show after I put out a tweet that I honestly didn't expect you to respond to. So. What is it about your style that you think got you to that point for all the content creators out there who might be listening and just like looking for a little nugget, a gem?
Let me just say something, man. It's just just everything around us works in mysterious ways. I was coming off a series of interviews and everybody asking questions and I love to tell stories. Now I'm gonna answer your football questions, but I love to answer non-football questions. And I did the KG interview. Shouts out to KG on Twitter, KG Sports. Kevin Gray Jr. on Twitter. Shouts out to him. I did his interview, and I was just I'm emotional. I'm a man that's emotional. And I think that's okay. I think a lot of people shame emotional men. They'll point and they laugh and they'll be like, you're emotional. Yes. If I have to defend my family, I think it's okay to be emotional as long as I can control it. If I'm trying to motivate someone, it's okay to be emotional. I play football. I had to give a pep talk. It's okay to be emotional. If I'm talking to y'all, I got, And that interview, listening back to it, it made me, I can be emotional by sometimes, how I can affect somebody, So if I'm talking about, man, boy, these people that I looked up to, these content creators, these characters that's in this cowboy universe, I looked up to those people and now they know who I am. Now they're familiar with my work. Now they're like, oh, well, Voch on the volume doing good work. I got inspired. and I can inspire someone else like, yo, Voch, I'm gonna do a podcast one day. And I'm like, shit, yeah, do a podcast one day. Right? And the line you use is a very slick line that you use, right? I said on Kevin Gray's show, I was like, one day I just need 15 seconds to argue with Brian or something like that. I just need to argue with Brian Broaddus, right?
You said it was your goal to argue.
How many followers do I need?
Yes, that's what it was. How many followers do you need to argue with Brian Broaddus?
And this slickster here, how many followers I need to interview Voch Lombardi? And I was just so emotional at the time. I was like, fucking set it up. And we set it up. And it was a fantastic interview. And we talked about football for 22 seconds. And it was an hour, 40-minute long video. So I was just in my bag. But to answer your question, I think my energy, my emotion, my passion, how I feel, and all that comes from inside of here. I think that's what drives people here. You know, content is only so much about what you're saying, right? Like Micah's fast. It is only so many ways I can say Mike is fast. There's 30 content creators that can say Mike is fast. But if I make you laugh while saying it, if I can motivate you while saying it, if I can get you to buy into my story while saying it, you know, if I can get you to be proud of me and the growth, you know, to where I can say Mike is fast one way, but I'm learning football still, so I can say Mike is fast a better way. That's what goes into building the audience. So that's what I think people, you know, lean into.
So even when you're joking, that's coming from like an emotional place.
It can be. It can be. You know, sometimes I just want to make people laugh just to make people laugh. You know, people may be having a bad day. I get that a lot. Yo, Voch, I had a terrible day, man. But you and Will still, me and Will still do the show, the 306 show. Yo, Voch, man, this is my favorite sports show. I'm just glad y'all have a sense of humor, man, because I've been going through some shit and you just made me laugh. I'm like, damn, dog. Like, I you know, because sometimes they'll hit me with that, right? Or like, man, you know, sometimes you should be a little more serious. You know, like the TV people, you know, you should, you know, be a little more buttoned up like them. But man, I love telling jokes. I love to, you know, laugh with my audience. I love to give y'all big virtual hugs on the microphone. I'm giving y'all one right now. But at the end of the day, we're still giving y'all fantastic information. You know, as long as we give good information and I can make you laugh while doing it, that's another thing that's separating me.
So what do you say to the people who are kind of struggling between, okay, should I be more buttoned up? Or should I kind of relax? And like, how does somebody know if they have the type of personality to where if they let go of the buttoned up persona that, you know, they'll find success that way? Because I think sometimes people aren't really comfortable with that version of themselves.
Sure. Listen to your feedback. Listen to your feedback. There's nothing wrong with buttoned up. There's nothing wrong with buttoned up. There's a lot of people that make careers and make good money off of buttoned up, you know? I always say, you know, do the content and the audience will tell you what you need to do. If everybody in your comment section is going, LOL, rolling on the floor, ha ha, then you might be funny. So just do funny, right? But if, you know, sometimes, hey, that's good information, boring guy. You know what I'm saying? if they're enjoying your boring, then fine. If they're enjoying your jokes, then fine. Me and Will still can do that. I can go serious for an hour. I can go jokey for an hour. I just happen to get both. I'm just blessed, you know, to be able to do both. But if you can't do both, then do what works. Pat McAfee does funny, you know. Whoever, because I don't listen to a whole bunch of serious people, but serious person does serious, you know. There's nothing wrong with doing that. You ain't got to switch sides.
So tell me this.
Okay.
Yesterday, you were doing a lot of fan interaction.
Yes.
When your fans interact with you in person, do they usually want to talk about football or do they want to ask about something else?
Sometimes they're nervous.
Mm-hmm. They're nervous about meeting you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm just like, man, I'm just Voch from Natchez, Mississippi, bro. Don't be like that. But come as you are, you know? Come as you are. I give virtual hugs in real life too. I mean, I ain't gotta hug you. If you need a hug, I'll give you a hug. Fuck it. But come as you are, you know. I met Miss Lisa. She's in the chat. Boy, Miss Lisa ran up like an auntie would and gave me a hug. Come on, Lisa. Bam. And we ain't say nothing about football. She said, how y'all doing? You doing all right? Boy, I'm so proud of y'all. Blah, 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 blah. We ain't say shit about football. But shouts out to our guys, Aislinn and Coach Cam. They walked up and they, you know, hey man, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. Oh, fan of your show. Oh, appreciate you. What you think gonna happen with TJ Bass? And I didn't do them like I just did you with the football. I didn't look at him and go, hey man, don't talk to me about football. I don't want to be that guy. I want to give as great of a vibe as I can give somebody. So I looked at him and I said, TJ Bass, fuck Josh Ball. Walk off. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to move on from Josh Ball. We talked about right guard and we were watching O-line drills. And I was like, hey man, you see this drill? Boy, this drill, they're working on such and such and such and such. It was fundamental stuff, but come as you are, man. Whatever you want to make out of this moment. Humbly though, right? I don't want to just seem like meeting Voch or some crazy shit, you know what I mean? But whatever you want your interaction with me to be, you support me. You support me. If you want to come and talk about sides at a cookout, let's talk about it, bro. Let's talk about it, bro. I live a fantastic life.
In defense of your fans, meeting Voch in real life is some crazy shit.
Thank you. I appreciate. Come as you are. I just want to be approachable. You know what I mean? I don't want. You know, they always say that. You know, you really don't want to meet your heroes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you meet people that, you know, and I'm no one's Avenger, but that's just the phrase that they use, right? I would hate it. It would tear me up if I can live this comfortable life. Volume only has me here because I have a following and a fan base. I'm in this Omni hotel because I got a following and a fan base. I can pay my bills because I got a following and a fan base. The one thing I would hate to do is if a follower or a member of my audience and my fan base were to walk up to me, try to say something to me, or just give thanks, or to be grateful, or to just say what's up, or to share a smile, or to take a picture, and I go, fuck you. I'm in the Omni with the goddamn Ford Center behind me because of you. Come as you are. You know what I'm saying? So, nah, I can't do people like that.
Well, here's the real reason I said meeting you in person is some crazy shit.
Okay.
I think when I met you, I halfway expected you to not be the same person.
Okay.
Because, like, I'd only ever seen you through a screen. Mm-hmm. So I think I kind of expected to just, like, see some other side of you.
Yeah.
But it's like, you're 100% like the same person.
Sure.
And I think that was, like, the craziest thing for me.
I don't know if it was when we was chilling with Broadus or whatever yesterday. And Law and Sky and all that guys. But
the 15-second video that went viral.
Right? but you asked, it was just the idea of just when am I being like a YouTuber, right? I think even Broadus asked about this, and I think Aisha asked about when are we YouTubers? When are we who I am? And I think what's great about who I am is there's no switch for me to turn on. I just act a fool all day. I just talk football all day. And that's why I think it's a good thing about, internet. It's a good thing about YouTube. If I had to work for some company, if y'all paying, then fine. I can button up and turn on my little violin music. I can do that all day, every day, right? But I love the idea that YouTube gives me freedoms. And with those freedoms, it allows me to just act a fool and talk football all day. Because I know how to balance it. I can give a fantastic football take. Like when Boss Cowboys was saying, I'm listening. I'm listening right now. I can give some good games, some good football games. But on that same token, I can have a good time for all of us. How do you feel when fans walk up to you? Because you told me about your fan experience in Oxnard that one time.
That one person.
It's fine. It's everybody has a different experience. Is it jarring for you when people that you don't know they know you?
I'm gonna be honest. It was kind of jarring because nobody else. The only people I'd run into that knew me were Brian Broadus, and then I saw Jay Tuck and Law knows people, and so those are people I interact with on Twitter, right?
Sure.
This was a person who follows me on Twitter who I don't interact with a lot, who just so happened to recognize me, and I just thought for sure it was somebody else. In my mind, I was like, I don't know who you're talking about. She was like, I know you, and I'm just like, you sure?
You know
nothing. She's like, bitches love sports, and I'm just like, oh, you do know me. Oh yeah. Wow. And I actually saw her 2 days in a row. I even messaged her and I was like, hey, are you going to the camp in Frisco? So it's we have rapport now.
Sure.
But I will admit, for me, it was jarring. But that's because it's I've I put out tweets that don't even get one reply. So me meeting one person in person was like kind of odd.
This is the one thing that's still odd to me, and it goes along that one thing that we were talking about that one time. I'm still blown away by people that know my work. Because at the end of the day, this is art to me, right? Mm-hmm. Art is anything to where, like, I can't read your mind, you can't read my mind. But I got a thought. How do I give you this thought? If I have a picture, how can I show it to you without just describing it? If I got a sound in my head, if I got a script with like a conversation that happened between two characters, you can't know that in my mind. So art is when I just find a way to just get it to you.
But everything that you just said, I think we're so used to seeing people who try to figure out how to convey that.
Sure.
And they conjure up some entirely different personality in order to communicate that. Whereas you're able to find natural components of your personality to do that.
Yeah.
And so then when people meet you in person and it's like, oh, like, no, he's like legit the same dude. Same facial expression, same style of dress and everything. I think, and considering the numbers that you've done.
Sure.
Like, we're so used to seeing people get that kind of success and they have to do something. Yeah. They have to change something about themselves.
Well, this is the weird part about that. I'm a little older. I won't share your age because I'm a gentleman. But I've come from an era of the internet. I don't know if you were there.
Do you actually know my age?
But I'm a gentleman, so I ain't gonna go there. But what I'm saying is,
I'm cutting that part out.
Don't worry about it. I come from a certain era of the internet, right? When YouTube first started, it was just a place where we shared videos. Do you know the actual birth of YouTube?
No.
Janet Jackson titty video, the Super Bowl titty video, there was no place to see it.
Oh.
So YouTube was started to, hey, come here. I just uploaded it to this thing called YouTube. Come watch the Janet Jackson video. That's how YouTube got started. Thank you, Janet.
Shout out to Janet.
Shout out to Janet. But YouTube wasn't always this thing that it is now. It was just hobbyists. It was people that did how-to videos. They did walkthroughs. They just wanted to share some funny cat video or just some weird shit that happened at their house. YouTube now, we're the new rappers is, how I call it. All the original rappers were themselves.
I do remember when YouTube first started monetizing rappers, but go ahead.
All the original rappers were themselves and there was diversity. But the more music grows, now you got rappers sounding like other rappers. Because, there's a blueprint for it now. Right? So there was no blueprint for film funny football guy. There's a lot of blueprints for film funny football guy, or just film guy now. You know what I mean? Like when I first started, it was me, Brett Coleman, Matt Waldman. We're the only ones breaking down film. And Brian Broaddus did something on .com, right? So it wasn't just a bunch of film people. There are zillions of film guys now. So now what ends up happening is sometimes, and I give advice to this all the time, try not to sound like your favorite YouTuber, because people will. I didn't have a favorite YouTuber to sound like in my field, I did some comedy stuff at first, but we ain't got to talk about that part of my life. But when I got into football, that was the original me. And I wasn't always funny guy. I wasn't always cowboy guy. I wanted to be a serious draft dude, but you develop over time, and that's just what my style is. And I've never copied anybody because there wasn't anybody to copy.
I don't have a favorite YouTuber either.
Okay.
I also don't know many people who cover some of the stories that I cover. Like, I love to fangirl, you know, but I also love, like, the off-the-field stories about, like, what the NFLPA is doing and what's going on with the grass versus turf and Saudi Arabians trying to buy football teams and getting involved with golf and soccer.
Shah Khan, yes, that's great.
Yeah, so I also don't have a favorite YouTuber, so maybe that'll work out.
Yeah, but that's any business thing, right? Like if there's not, I call it lane, others will call it a market. If there's not a market for it, then start your business
You're
here.
saying there's not a market?
No, there's 100%. No, and look, I told you, there's 100% a market for people that are into like side stories like this. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So, hey.
When I say stuff like that to him, I'm joking. I know he supports me.
100%. But hey, supply and demand. Some people like how I do things, and I'll tell you more about what that means off camera. Some people just like how I do, but that way may not be for everybody. But it's okay. I'm for somebody.
Yeah, you're for a lot of people apparently.
I appreciate y'all for being for me being for y'all. Thank you.
I dig it. Okay, I feel like if we were live, there would be like more questions about that. But we're not.
more questions about what in particular?
I feel like people would have a ton of questions for you about just like what makes you successful, how to find your style, how to market yourself and how to promote yourself. Because it's like, even some of the things that people like try to do to grow their brand, like I'm very much into trying to get more Twitter engagement, right? Sure. And that's worked out for me in a lot of ways. Yeah. But you don't tweet a lot.
I believe less is more. Mm-hmm. I believe less is more sometimes. I mean, that's a general quote from old folks, but Jay-Z said it, and it's, less is more. It's plenty of us, like I feel like if I tweeted every day, and this is a reason why for a long time I didn't upload every day. I learned this from McCoy. Shout out to my guy, McCoy. I don't want to say anything to my people unless I have anything to say. Because if I just say something every day, then it loses its impact. But if I only come out and say something when it's damn worth it. Oh, what did Voch Lombardi say? How many times have you seen somebody on Twitter? You may be following them, but they tweet so goddamn much that you got to mute them. You don't want to unfollow them because that'll turn into TMZ Twitter mess. But I'll just mute you because you're just tweeting a lot right now. There's no impact in every single tweet.
I haven't really done that, but I do have lists. Okay. And there are some people that I follow that are not on a list. Okay. If that counts.
I get a lot of engagement. Not because I talk a lot of shit, but I just wait until it's something that's worth tweeting about. And then when I tweet it, boy, does it blow up. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all haven't seen me all day. And then I make this, one of my latest tweets, Major Pain, right? Mm-hmm. When they was doing the Black Op and Tiger was putting on the paint, and I was like, that's Deuce Vaughn getting ready to take running back too. If I would have if I would have had 10 Deuce Vaughn tweets within that hour, and then posted that one, that tweet doesn't blow up. Because they may be sick of seeing me talk about Deuce Vaughn right now. But if I just surprise your little timeline with my Deuce Vaughn tweet, it'll hit so much more. Tweet less, y'all. Less is more.
Tweet less. Elon gonna come for you.
Elon. But anyway, we got 22 minutes of non-football. You did great. Let's get into some Cowboy talk.
Okay.